Yes. I want to welcome you on to the You Wasn't Outside podcast on the Grown Folks Podcast Network. I'm one of your hosts, not doing the most normal ass Carl to my front. I'm my man at Just Lex to his left. My immediate right. The boosters of all boosters. Miss Juicy J. Also known as the Purple Cat.
I was waiting for it.
I like it though. Yeah. Like I tell all the people, if I make fun of your clothing, it's because I like it. We got this lady at my job. Shout out to Natasha, man. Natasha be coming in. Fly, man. But like suits. You know what I mean? Like just different color suits. And and they be vibrant. Yellows, the purples.
I love that.
You know, the full thing. I was like, and it'd be a new suit. Every day.
I love it.
I don't think I've ever seen her double up on an outfit.
Dang.
Yeah, she pulled out the Jehovah's Witness skirt the other day. I said, I've known you for 10 years. I ain't never seen you in this long jean skirt.
Yeah.
She had on some boots like that too.
I want some long
You got enough dudes paying the 80. You don't got to repeat it.
That's the thing. I think she's like self-sufficient. I got my own 80.
Hey.
Yeah. Those are the ones who be like, I'll hit you.
Those are the ones I gotta, girl, stay single.
I'll hit you. Nah, she too self-sufficient.
Keep your peace. Protect your peace in your suits, bitch, okay?
Hey, look, there's a thing to this. To some degree, right? Not to the fullest degree. I need my women to need me.
Oh, that is so...
I need you to need me a little bit. It don't even have to be financially, just emotionally. Just need me just a little bit. Like, just wait. Like, where you at? Show me some kind of crazy. Like, yo, I'm coming.
Show me some kind of crazy.
Yeah, that's it. Just show me some kind of crazy. That's why I be saying shit like, yo, let them.
What?
My stepson was asking me the other day. We was laying down. I try to like have moments with him outside of like just like baseball shit and everything. So we watching Instagram videos.
Yeah.
And his mom's story popped up on my thing. So he's like, "Oh, you know another girl named Adele?" I was like, I said, "Yeah, that's my girl." He turned to me. He was like, "So you cheating on mommy?"
He say that for real?
Hell yeah.
Oh, Papa.
And I was like, "How you know all this type of words,
Good
right?"
for you, Chris. Air this bitch out.
He was like, "You cheat on." And so then I clicked the story. He saw that it was his sister on there. He was like, he just started busting up because the shit was funny. Because it was like, you know how some shit stunned you so much, but you had no choice but to laugh.
The audacity for you to tell me this, like, that cool.
But I say all
that. Like, that ain't my mom.
Like that cool.
You know that's my mom, right?
But do y'all do shit like that? Because like I play with my kids to a certain degree to find out how much they know.
Oh, like the loyal?
I do certain. Not even just that. Just like I know that they learning shit from other kids. So to what degree, I don't know. So I do this thing where I allow him to express himself. Yeah. I allow her to express herself.
It's a temperature check.
Yeah, make it fun too. And then I try not to wig out depending on how crazy it is, because I need you to be able to have, like, he'll be like, "Oh, never mind." And I'm like, "Bro, you don't get whoopings. Right? I don't be yelling at you about normal shit. Like maybe your mom and your dad probably do, but like we get a lot of alone time in the car. I'm like, bro, just say what you got to say.
Yeah.
Because then it lets me know where you're at in your development versus everything else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's not a bad kid or nothing like that. I don't lead no lifestyle that he see that's different or whatever. So it's like
just exposure to like different kids, different, at school and in sports. They're having conversations. Like you can't catch everything. I definitely do temperature checks like that. Yeah. Trying to say like how much exposure you have, how much do you know, how much are you comfortable saying, and then the number one thing is, especially as they get older, and you start, the shit you hear starts getting a little more, is controlling your reaction. You know, my daughter, I pick her up. I don't want to say where, but she was telling me how there was like a fight, and like these kids were breaking a computer and they were horseplaying and they started fighting. She was like, "Oh, I get it, Mom. Like, why you say like it's not good to horseplay because, she's all, they were like, I'm all slapboxing." She's like, "Yeah, how'd you know?" It's like, because I ain't new to this.
That's crazy. Are we at that age where they don't think we know this shit?
Literally. So they were slapboxing, then it got serious. And so, immediately all I'm hearing is, why the fuck were you close enough to see a fight? You know, like why are you able to tell me the details? Like so that means you were like what in the circle? Like
right.
when I've told you, fuck that. We are not spectators. We're not gonna watch violent acts happen. We're not gonna record it. That's evidence. That's the case. Go get some fucking help or step the fuck away. Either way, like I don't like that spectator shit. And so, but. I can't.
You were a spectator, though.
I was never a bystander. I'm jumping in.
I know, but you was there. That's the thing.
And fighting.
And your mom couldn't tell you not to do it. That's the hard part.
But my mom never had those conversations with me. Again, I was a fighter, so I'm like, if you're in there, what are the chances you might get into a fight because you join? Or the main thing is all these kids want to record, and I'm always telling my daughter, like, those are receipts. Like, like whenever you're participating in any kind of act like this and you're recording, like you can be liable, plus like that's not the kind of person I'm raising you to be. I agree. I'm not raising you to be somebody who does that. I'm raising you to be somebody who helps or at least mind your fucking business and get the fuck on. But I can't react. My whole point is I couldn't react like that. I just said like, okay, yep, exactly. You see why I say don't play fight, and where were you? How did this happen? Like, yeah, you're right. What'd you do afterwards? Did you and then just reminding her like, hey, just want to remind you, like when shit like that goes down, like where are you supposed to be? Let's cover those things again. So, it is important to check in and see like what they know, what they've seen, and how they respond. Are they responding in ways that you've been coaching and conditioning and trying to get them to respond? Because that's really what it is. We're all training. Like I'm in the big leagues right now that my daughter's in middle school. I'm kind of in where it's like we've been we've been training, we've been practicing, and now we're at this level where she's kind of I got to see like what the fruits of my labor have been and how much of the peer pressure and the peer surroundings is going to start to teeter-totter what she knows and what she's been taught. So, giving a lot of grace they're not going to react perfectly. They're not like, ding, my mom said when a fight happens, I should go get help or I should walk away.
Yeah, that's the part that I'm thinking, like, if you say that made that shit even worse.
Like, that's what I want, because I'm like, that's what I've been telling your ass for how many years now. But it's going to take a few exposures. It's going to take a few times for these things to happen, for her to kick in and be like, oh, that's right. This isn't such a shock value. I know what's happening now. How am I supposed to respond in this situation, given the circumstances and what I can do or can't do? Yeah,
you're right. My favorite line from one of my favorite rappers was, "You can't even steal on the dude because motherfuckers will sue." And it's like, yo, when you said the whole phone thing, like in our era, like if it wasn't common for anyone to pull out a phone and record fights. Maybe you would see it every once in a while, but it wasn't common for me to pull one out. And like my first thing wasn't like to film it. You know why? There was nowhere to post that shit to.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Other than maybe you would share a video, but why the fuck would I share a video? We was all there in the first place. Yeah. You know what I mean? And like you couldn't do that shit on MySpace or Zanga and all them other places when I was in school. Because none of that shit exists and you couldn't put it on Facebook. I'm sure like back then Facebook would have you take the shit down.
Yeah.
Right now they allow anything to go. But you're right. When I thought about the phone thing, it's like, fam, they gonna get everybody. And then it's like, you're not thinking. But I'm also in between like, yo, like my kids gotta make mistakes. And I just hope that they're not as bad as mine. Like I've had dudes tell me they gonna pop the trunk on me. You know what I mean? I've had to, like hold some shit down. And, recently, oh my God, you know what? Lex, how you been?
Before me.
Yeah, before I get into that. We'll talk about this week in music. But how you been, bro?
I'm good, man. We officially done with football. For
champs.
Now. Yep.
The champs is here.
Y'all won everything?
Congratulations.
Yeah. Oh, shit. There you go.
Yeah.
He made his own applause.
What's the name? Yeah. Give us your title. What you guys win.
It's just the Southwest region, because normally after you do that, everyone goes to Florida.
Yeah.
But we ain't raised enough money to do all that. So we don't know how good we really are nationally. But
how much money you need to go to Florida?
You are such a Debbie Downer.
But as far as the region,
you're the champs. That's good. You got more time to develop.
And it was, this game was, because we've been gone 2 weeks. This game was fine. It wasn't much of a game. Pretty much same old shit.
Okay, big boss.
But the week before that, it was a hostile environment. And I like those.
Who'd y'all play?
Why was it hostile?
Rancho Cucamonga.
Are they like rivals? Or?
Cracker killers.
Nah, it was.
That was on Friday. He was like, who you play football for? The Cracker Killers.
It was just like I still like. I guess it's living below the 8 still has a stigma, even if you get to those areas. Because it was news to me that Eastlake was hood, right? So
who said that?
Yeah,
Eastlake has hood parts. Though.
I understand, but like
Lonzo swears that he got like robbed at gunpoint in Eastlake, and I was like,
I've been robbed at gunpoint in Eastlake.
Oh, okay, so
but the people that it happened in Eastlake, they weren't from Eastlake.
Yeah.
You know what? Let me chill out before I start giving it
up. I know, giving it up, huh? Now that's
like they weren't from it. Let's clarify.
But
I've never been banged on by somebody.
But they were like,
Eastlake.
No.
But so there was an issue. There was the issue with the whole game. I like it when the team starts doing all the off the field antics to try to get advantages because they know they're not going to win. They start looking at our check-in, trying to get our players scratched off. They start not suiting up their worst players so they don't have to put them in. They'll start complaining to the refs about this and that. They'll start just they'll start getting parents' cars towed. They'll just do random stuff like that.
Okay.
And so this game,
how old are these boys again?
This is 8. We were hyped up. We had a good playlist going. We were hyped.
Literally.
They said, "Hey, we're moving kickoff like 45 minutes." Because the people around us, it's too early in the morning. Y'all motherfuckers knew that before y'all scheduled the game.
Right.
And normally we sit on opposite sides, but both sides sat in one stance, right?
Oh, you
I hate that.
And
I'm going too hard for my kids right now in front of the ops.
And the ref crew, they weren't communicating. They didn't know the rules. Half of them didn't want to be there. They were just collecting the money. They was putting the ball in 2 different spots. Like, we weren't getting the good spots. We were getting like random calls that I've never seen. And every week we learn a new rule in the mercy shit. And we were confused. We were just trying to adjust. But what happened was we had a player, he was running the ball. They grabbed his face mask. They tugged him down. They didn't get the call. They were still on him. Another player jumped on him when the play was over. They're not throwing any flags. And so he gets up instinctively and starts defending himself and pushes him off.
Yeah, of course.
And the flag come out.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. Eastlake. And I was like, what? And so we're like, yo, ref, like, did you not see the face mask? He's like, I saw it, but if he didn't see it, we can't get it called. I said, damn, that's crazy. What are you doing here then?
Did you say that?
Yeah. We were talking to ref the whole time. We're like, yo, he's like, you see where I put the ball, right? I was like, so why don't you were the one right here. Just because he's wearing the white hat, tell him. Yeah. He's like, man, I can't. Then why are you here? We were doing that the whole game. And so once you get an unsportsmanlike conduct, you get another one, you get thrown out. And
did the kid get another one?
After that incident, I'm like, that's crazy. Like, not even offsetting penalties. And it's not like the cases where I was trying to tell him, I'm like, hey, you know what? In a lot of sports, sometimes it's not the person who starts it, it's the person who reacts, who gets caught.
That's life.
It wasn't even one of those situations because they kept going. And I'm like, yo, there was 2 of them. And so it's like, I'm not going to sit here and be mad at this flag. Like, I'm not mad at you. Like, you were defending yourself. It was sick to me because I can hear the opposing coaches, he was on the middle of the field, telling him, do that shit every time. And I'm like, this is weird. Like, the way they be riding for these 8-year-olds, like it's a fucking Super Bowl, is crazy. Like, I'm into it. I'm invested, but I'm not doing no shit like that.
They do whole Netflix shows on these dudes.
I know.
That's what you should have known.
But no. Yeah. And so, a few minutes later, they bait him and they get him a second time. Other side of the field, opposite us, and we still had to run across the whole field to break up this fight. Nobody on this side did anything. They throw the flags. They call a penalty on both sides. They eject both players. The parents in the back start going, hey, why did he get 2 chances? We only got 1 and we get thrown out. What's wrong with that?
That's crazy.
Because you didn't get the other call.
They're like, come on now. Here's the thing. He got thrown out of the game. Usually means you can't play the next game. There's only 1 game, so he couldn't play in the championship.
Oh, fuck. So they held it?
They held it,
Both boys from both teams couldn't play in the championship?
Well, they lost, so that was their last game.
But your boy couldn't.
But yeah, so and his dad's a coach. He was losing. And
that's a good
everyone
lesson
was sad
to learn.
for him. But here's the thing: we were like, I get that part. You got to control your emotions, this and that. But I'm like, I can't even. Like, as a dad, we're not going to sit here and tell our sons not to defend themselves. Like, they were beating him up. It wasn't on some, like, oh, you got pushed a little bit and you got mad. Yeah. They were like, I don't understand. Like, I can't really get him. It was unfortunate. But after that, because we're on the side closest to the parents, like, the parents are already yelling at us, like, random shit the whole time. But after that, they sitting here calling this 8-year-old boy a hood rat. And the funny thing is, like, he's one of the more respectful 8-year-olds I know. And he's like, oh, he's a hood rat. Take that shit back down there. And, like,
these are white people calling.
They were white, Mexican.
Rancho Cucamonga, it looks like they go.
And the young man in question is a black young man, and they're calling him a hood rat.
They were calling him a hood rat. They were calling, like, everything.
That's a red city, ain't it?
The fuck?
I believe so.
Yeah, Rancho Cucamonga is like.
And they were. We weren't playing in Rancho Cucamonga. We were playing in Pasadena.
You brought the people there though.
And it was just like
that Trump shit. I tried to tell you.
And so we were doing all that. Yeah, there was a lot of Trump, and we're all parked in the same tiny parking lot.
How I would,
but we were just sitting here. We were egging them on as coaches. I was fired up. I was like, "Yo, we was already up 32-0." And
I would have took him out.
We're just like, "Yo, look at the scoreboard." Well, no, he got ejected.
No, that's what I'm saying. After the first scuffle, if I'm up 32-0, I would have took him out because it's a safety thing now. You know what I mean? If you up already, just don't. You ain't even got to do nothing too crazy. Let him take a few plays off.
We're so stacked that it's not like he's like, obviously even without him we still won the championship like 38-0 or something like that. Like, it wasn't,
that's a hard spot for everybody.
It was unfortunate. And then after the game it was complaining, and then they were calling in complaints to the league on our side of the parents, because the parents started, because you got a whole side screaming, hey, that kid's a hood rat, when his mom is sitting right there.
Yeah,
and she's like, yo, what are you talking about? Like, nah, fuck all that.
We got 7 bedrooms.
And
right?
And then it's like, yeah, it was
she's better than me.
HOA is $500
we're never we've never been like a run up the score type of team, but after that we were like, yo, keep starters in. Let's run this motherfucker up.
Yeah.
And yeah, so
what was the final of that game?
Oh, we were saying that, but the head coach was like, "Nah, we ain't doing that. We ain't running up score." All the other assistants were like, "Yo, man,
baseball, I would have did it."
Right?
Baseball is a little bit more. There's a little more pride in baseball, where it's like, "Yo, fuck you, dude. We gonna do this."
Yeah, I'm just, it was unfortunate, but we won. We're done, and on to the next shit. We took a break we're not playing basketball in the winter. We got the next flag shit starting soon, and they're all going to run with it. And we got off season. They're going to run with football, I think, as long as possible. So as much as I want them to also play basketball, given my situation right now, I don't need them to be doing a whole bunch more until I can, like,
it's nice to have a break for the holiday season too,
Yeah.
It's a good time.
Also, going from Eastlake to Mission Valley, public transportation, that is a day.
Yeah, right? It adds how many hours to it?
4.
Dang.
I don't know why you don't just
both
take the
ways or one way?
No, I was taking Ubers. And that shit was like, yo, this is a mortgage payment.
Right? You're like, I spent a week.
So I took a day, I was like, where I didn't have a whole bunch to do, to where I could like, let me just see what it is.
Yeah.
And the public transportation isn't that bad. Like, I was stepping on, I was like, man, I'm humbled right now. But
what
it
was your
like,
route? How far did you have to walk? Like, give us the journey. Did you have to walk 15 minutes, 5 minutes to the stop? Did you
I had
transfers?
4 different buses, 2 different trolleys. It was.
Wow.
That's why people say San Diego's not set up. It's not
it's not the most, but like
there's a way, but it's not
public transportation in itself wasn't that bad. It's just more like, hey, I'm not gonna have days like this where I can get away with adding 4 hours to
the commute.
And yeah, it was nice that it cost as much as it did, but I can't do that consistently. So we'll see. I'm close. I got a couple more months. But yeah, I mean, I gotta do that shit bright and early.
There you go.
Shit's probably gonna cost you more in insurance anyway.
100%.
Better for the environment.
Yeah.
Hey, I was doing all that to keep me So, hey.
You can't even ride a bike there.
Yeah, no, there's no shame in your game. No way.
You can't even ride a bike there. Fuck that. I've ridden a bike to work.
We're such like a there's such like this like perceived. I mean, there are certain reasons why certain people use public transportation, but I hate that like sometimes as like a culture where like we make assumptions about people, or we, there's like almost like this level of like feeling of like shame or embarrassment where it's like that is a means of transportation, and a lot of people elect to use public transportation. In other cities around the world, that is their number one way. So I wish, like, especially here in San Diego, because we do have the trolley systems, the buses, we have the Amtrak. We are like it's not necessarily set up, for the best route selection and having to cross over timely.
I think that's the difference.
Yeah.
That's why it's looked at that way, because like the only reason you're electing to do that in a city like this is because you can't do it.
Yeah, because I can't imagine.
Because if this was New York, everyone would look at me like, oh, you're just regular.
Exactly.
You'd be crazy to have a car.
Yeah.
Where you park that shit at? You know what I mean? Like how much do you pay to park that shit? Hit my hand claps, dog. Let's go ahead and get into it, man. This week in music is what I want to get to. If you got it ready, fire that. There we go. Two things. I want to talk about Kendrick's album, but then everything that we have been talking about, man, and you came in and asked me about it. J.Cole dropped the podcast.
Really?
Yeah.
You really go do This Week in Music and talk about this?
Yeah. I'm going to say Kendrick for last.
You don't like J. Cole?
No, I do.
You like J. Cole's podcast?
I just don't think this is I think once he dropped, any of this other news is just kind of...
That's why you feel the way you feel about the Super Bowl right
there.
That right there. No, that level of logic is why you felt like
you about to defend Wayne this week too?
No.
Okay.
I feel like right now Kendrick will win that one.
Just right now?
Yeah, just right now.
Okay.
5 years ago, I don't think he would have won that.
5 years ago, you don't think so?
No. 5 years ago, no.
All right.
And yeah, come on now. Like this whole little like, yo, can't nobody. He's replaced Drake right now. That has never been. It's always been a 1A and 1B, and A was active more versus no. Drake moved down to number 2 or 3.
That ain't got nothing to do with him being better than Lil Wayne or being able to handle him in a rap battle.
I thought it had something to do with it because I looked at those guys as titans. So anyway, J. Cole dropped a podcast this week, and the reason why I brought it up because fucking Debbie Downer over here. The reason why I brought it up is because it brought up a lot of nostalgia shit for me, and then he started talking about like his. Basically,
what's the premises of the show? What's he talking about?
So they found a laptop that he had like when he was like in college or something like that, before he went to college or whatever. And on that laptop, he had a lot of his mixtape, a lot of his earlier mixtapes, like the Come Up. What's the other one?
The Warm Up.
The Warm Up. He had a lot of them on there, and so then the podcast is on like what he was specifically doing at those time periods.
That's interesting.
And that's where it got me because back then, we didn't have interview style podcasts and journalism like this. It's
more
usually
intimate.
Yeah, it's more intimate. So like when I was in college and J. Cole came out, the shit he was rapping about I could relate to because we were all in college at that time, right? I've talked about that, previously before. But then to hear like how he was on some regular shit, he's like, yeah, when I did, the Come Up or whatever, like I was playing, basketball, going out to parties and shit. Like in my mind, I was like, oh, he already had a deal. So for him to like explain that out, it was kind of like different. And then he started talking about like the mistakes and the things he did while he was in school, which was why I wanted to get to that point too. Cause we were talking about our kids and allowing them to make mistakes. And I was like, and I started just reflecting back on a lot of shit that like I had just been through. Right? Like I done been robbed, I done had people threaten threaten my life and shit like that. I done moved, I done chased women and stuff, I done went to parties and then left the party, just to go to work 2 hours later, just to, and I'm up all night, working and writing papers and shit. And I'm like, damn, like I really forgot like what that hustle and bustle grind was. And then, he had a song called School Days where he even talked about like high school, like walking a girl to her class.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Buying, like I'm thinking like, yo, like if I like the girl, I'm spending the $1.25 on a cinnamon roll from the Helix card at break time. You know, and if I'm really on my dirt,
taking
right?
it to the taco shop, okay?
And
He been dropping 80. He been dropping 80 on him.
Kobe. But you know, like that's like that whole I appreciated that podcast because the nostalgia that it gave to me.
Yeah.
I think it was a great rollout because obviously he found some recordings from back then, right? Where they're talking about it.
Yeah.
Or all the recordings are new.
The recordings are like his music.
They found the recordings and they just kind of talk around it and it's chronological, and it helps him set up his new album, but also those types of mixtapes from back then. Because of the different people's music and everything, you can't they're not built for the streaming era. So it takes you got to jump through a lot of hoops to put them on a streaming platform. And
Why?
Because it's other people's music, rapping on other people's beats and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so he's using this as a platform to set up. And as these episodes drop, when he's done talking about the come up, it ends up on streaming. And so he's like, hey, you're welcome. And now it's available.
Smart.
He just did that one. The warm-up's up. Friday Night Lights will probably be next week. And then I think this is all setting up for his album. It's probably going to be coming up pretty soon at the end. And I thought it was great. And then Kendrick just kind of stepped on everything.
Oh, is that
because now
why?
Everyone's like kind of, no one's talking about nothing else.
But do you think that was intentional or just he didn't know? Did he?
No, I don't think he's doing that to step on Cole.
Yeah.
I think he's just doing it. I don't know why.
Why did he?
I don't pretend to understand that man's brain. But there's always a method to the madness. There was no
noise or traction that he was going to release an album. I mean,
a lot of his homies didn't know. They said his label didn't know.
Yeah.
They said we got this shit 2 days ago.
Okay.
Which is why everyone's like, this isn't the album. There's more coming.
But it's expensive.
Because my theory,
he got SWV, he got Tupac songs on there.
He's always not the album.
He's always been able to clear like some big samples. Because not when he was doing the last Heart and that Marvin Gaye shit, people don't just be getting his shit.
No,
I haven't heard that shit since Eric Sermon. So, yeah, as far as the Cole thing, I'll get to it eventually. I think it's nice that
it's $10.
Now that I'm a streaming person,
20 episodes.
I have all those mixtapes and I have access to them. But
you have to buy it.
He has his own so what he did was he has his own platform. He has direct to consumer, and then you pay $9 to have access to it. But they're all 2 hours long. So to me, I felt like that's more than what you get out of albums. An album, you probably get an hour and a half. You know, whatever you pay your $9.99.
And you can listen to the music.
Exactly.
Now too.
But now you have these where it's like, if you got to drive and you done listening to us, you know what I mean? Obviously. And whatever else you listen to, like you can add that on there, and it's not like it's current events. It's like a story thing, so you have access to this at any time.
Oh, that's cool. I don't know. I'm probably gonna get some smoke for this, but I'm still more excited about Ice Cube's new song and album.
What's the name of the album?
Nothing wrong with that. Man Down.
Man Down.
I don't know. I don't know if it was the nostalgia. Like, you know, I grew up listening. My dad's one of his favorite was Ice Cube. And so just hearing his voice, what is the sample on the new song? I know that's definitely got to be sampled.
I've only listened to the album once, including the single. I'm the type of person, if I'm excited for something, like this new Snoop dropped 2 songs on this album, I haven't heard them at all. Because if I know, if I'm getting excited about something, I want to hear it all at the same time.
Yeah.
And not have like, I've heard this song like 10 times already.
Yeah.
You know, I want to hear it all like that.
Yeah.
With the Ice Cube one, it was kind of the opposite. I didn't want to hear the single because I didn't want to be disappointed. So I'm like, let me just hear it all in its entirety, and it did help. I
heard it randomly. I didn't know. I didn't have any traction on any of it. So when I heard it randomly on the radio a few days ago, I was like, is that Cube? Like, and then I heard it again. Then I went and listened to it. I really enjoyed it, but I didn't know there was a whole album. So I'm like you. I like to listen to an album. Like I read a book. Like I want to just at least one time play it all the way in. I won't skip anything. So I'm gonna listen to that one before I listen to the Kendrick one.
There's nothing wrong. I'm not mad at that.
Yeah, I ain't mad at it.
Too.
No, they brought it up in the group chat.
And I definitely want to check out the J.Cole.
I did not run to the Ice Cube album after the group
chat. I wouldn't expect you to run to that.
I'm like going to go listen to it tonight, maybe.
I would go.
No, the thing is, I wasn't running to it.
Why
but
not?
that's
You don't like that?
Because Kendrick dropped the same time, and we were hyping it up.
No. If Kendrick,
and they peer pressured him because he wanted to say, "Oh, I'm gonna get to it later," but it was one of those ones he couldn't fight.
No. With certain people, that's why we listen to this as a family on the plan stuff. There's certain artists where it's like, all right, I'm not gonna be able to. So I'll drop what I'm doing. It's November, so I'm doing nothing but new albums. And I need to sit with them as long as possible because December is when I go.
Fucking TV documentary, the lineup, the queue. I'm still waiting for when we get a fucking show together.
In December,
is the queue clear?
In December, well, I just pivoted, so I got to see my TV situation right now. In December, I'm rewinding all the way back to
I want to hark into
January.
it, but I can't.
No, let's not.
I'll wait till we cut off the mic.
Exactly.
But yeah, so November, all these newer releases, I'm trying to sit with them as long as possible because once December comes, I rewind to January and I run through it real quick before I make this list. And so yeah, Ice Cube wouldn't have been something I would run into.
To the list? I think
the list comes out on New Year's Eve.
Oh, where?
On the pod? Well, we didn't. I'm gonna have to give him the password.
Well, it goes in a group chat. It goes on Instagram. It goes.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Facebook. There's a Facebook group dedicated to it.
Really? Yeah. All right. Add me in, boys. Loop me in, motherfuckers.
This is year 11? It's year 11, I think. So, what am I trying to think? Oh, because there's only like a couple people I'm going to talk about the Ice Cube album with, like seriously, I didn't need to run to it. But if everyone's going to be talking about a certain album, I'm like, all right. And that includes like, I wouldn't want to run to a Drake album, but I usually do because I want to be in the mix.
Yeah, have a fresh perspective.
So I'll do that. But because I know
research purposes,
no one's really gonna ruin the Ice Cube album for me.
That's shade.
It's not shade.
I am. I'm gonna go listen. I'm gonna report back and ruin it for you now.
No, I've listened to it now.
Oh, you've already?
Yeah, I've listened to it.
No, he was saying that we weren't gonna run to it like right when it came out.
I don't hate
excited about it.
Although Ben did come in and tell you that like some of the little basic raps he was doing wasn't.
No, but see, I'm not here. There's like a expectations you have, right? There is the 88 to 96 Cube where he had probably the greatest 8-year run of any rapper of all time, right? 8-year run, not run like 8-year run. Like,
are you saying the album's mediocre? Or like
not for 2024.
Is it dated?
It's relevant, is what you're saying? Or yeah,
I think it's a good. I think it's a good Ice Cube album. Because after that 96 run, he started focusing more on movies and stuff like that. You got a couple singles here and there, and then there was an 8 to 9 year period where you're like, yo, outside of a second West Side.
Yeah.
And then he came back in 06 and it was different, but I was like, oh, I like this one. The 06, 08 version, even some of the 2010. And then he took a big break. And then the stuff that came out after that, I'm like, all right, I don't really need to hear this shit. And including the Mount Westmore shit where in theory it's like, wow, look at these rappers, but I don't need to hear that shit. That shit was cheeks. And that's hard for me to say when you got E40, Too Short, Snoop and Cube. I don't need to hear that shit. I don't need to hear it. So
why?
After
you
that,
know what it sounds like to me? It sounds like my Ludacris argument.
What's your Ludacris argument?
After he started doing Fast and Furious, I didn't want any more rap from Luda. Like I associated him with.
He dropped fire after that. Don't do that.
Release Therapy, I think, would be my only one that I would agree with you on.
You didn't like Chicken and Beer? You didn't like Red Light District?
Red Light District was okay. I like Chicken and Beer, yeah. But I'm saying now I don't want Ludacris. Like he can go rapping. He can go rapping with. I mean, I like Ludacris. Let me not say that, but I'm not running to a new.
So if he had an album, like he said,
I'd eventually get to it out of nostalgia.
But it's also he's been in for 25 years. Yeah. That's fair. There's not a whole bunch of people that have been in it 25 years that I'm going to run to it.
That's the other thing too. Like
why not? I think that's the thing. Like if I would run to Luda if I had known Ice Cube. It also depends. I would run to Ice Cube.
It also depends how long they've been gone.
Cube faster than Kendrick. I'll listen to that probably.
Yeah.
When I'm like,
it also depends how long they've been gone.
Wait, time out. When you run through these, do you go back to the old shit too?
Oh yeah, because once you start, I listen to it all the way, and then I get amped, and then I go back and I'll start listening to older albums.
Would you say though, based on that logic, right, that you run back to the older shit more versus spending more time with the new shit?
It depends. If I find a few songs or if I really like the album, no, I'll listen to the new one.
Yeah, because like if Luda came out with some shit, I'll listen to new shit and be like,
But if I had a few, yeah.
But I'll go back to his old shit right after.
I'd run a few of the songs, like 3 songs I like, listen to them,
That's
and then
why
I still listen to
a lot of older rappers drop new music, so you do that.
Yeah, which is smart. That's what I'm saying.
They'll make a cheap album and be like, you know what? I'm in the mood now. I'll go back, and then you run through their catalog, and you know.
Let me also give you the smoking gun. You sounded way better when you was broke and hungry.
That's fair, but
I resonated to that. You know what I mean?
Do you guys watch the Rhythm and Flow?
Not yet.
What's that?
Oh, it's so good.
Season 2
on Netflix. Rhythm and Flow.
The competition where D Smoke came from.
Oh, with T.I. who did it?
Yeah,
T.I. Yeah.
Luda
I watched the first one.
They got a few.
Well, they have a new season.
How many seasons are there in total?
Just they took. This is the second one.
Oh, then I have watched it. My fault. I thought it was like continuous. It was like then I was getting mad at.
They got a new episode. Well, I think the new episode comes out next week.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll check it. I'll fuck with D Smoke.
It's good. I like it. Sorry, I didn't mean to hijack you.
Oh no.
Yeah. So that's my argument with that. So it's not like I won't listen to Ice Cube. It's just that, like, I remember one time he put out a list and I was competing with him at the time. Right now, I can admit to it. I wanted to prove that I can put one better than him, and now that I've got a few ships, you know.
Yeah.
I gotta listen. I've never listened to any playlist that you make.
It's not a playlist.
I love Carl's playlist.
Oh, I wouldn't say it's a playlist. It's just every album I heard, I rank them.
Yes.
It's not necessarily. It's just this is the music in 2024.
Oh, got it.
He be having some bullshit.
Oh, but your rankings. Oh, you both do rankings.
Oh, yeah, like have
he
you
started
ever,
coming in.
I want to play.
Oh, she's the perfect target
Can I do a
audience person.
ranking?
Yeah,
Well,
you can.
the thing about the thing that makes it feel watered down to me is because I sit with music. I listen to it all year. He comes in at the end of the year like, yeah, I've been listening to podcasts all year. He spends 2 weeks, runs through albums one time, assigns them like some stars or whatever, and like, yep, this is it.
Assigns them some stars or whatever.
That's hate.
That's fucking hate. That was the most honest he's ever been. I don't know what it is about you sitting here.
I mean, that's kind of real.
That's what you do.
Because you've been listening to them. You've been ruminating. Yeah, I mean, you've sat longer with them.
No, hold up. You're 60% right.
And then he
a third of that music I've already heard throughout the year. The other shit I will skip, like G Perico. You know who the fuck G Perico is?
I'm not gonna lie.
You're not gonna respect it the same way he does.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, I just thought about having to listen to some of the shit on the list.
He's not the biggest rapper for a reason. I get that part. And here's the thing: G Perico. The reason he's all over my list because he drops like 10 times a year. He don't be in the top 10 though.
It'd be above Drake's.
Here's the problem:
who is this man?
G Perico be above Drake albums.
All I'm hearing is Jeeper Creepers. I have no idea.
No, he's Crip James out last Friday. By the way, we back.
Crip James is crazy. Look, you see what I'm saying? There's some skips on that list.
No,
there's no reason to get to 100.
No. But
we can leave Crip James out.
Most of the time, when you're making lists, they're usually limited to like the top 10 of something. So you're expecting the whole list to be great.
Yeah,
that's where you're disrespectful.
I rank everything I do.
It's only 100.
A lot of times it's reached 100 before.
But I listen to Lloyd Banks just like you. I listen to Freddie Gibbs, like all these same Corday, like yeah, man. And those are guys that are outside of the top 10.
These are all rap albums.
Yeah,
she didn't even know a single guy just said right now.
But the point is, when if you heard, this is what the argument I have every year with at least one person. Everyone's like so passionate. Everyone is like, yo,
that's why he didn't like my shit.
How is this person?
Your gold stars. You're not a real fan.
They're like, yo, how is Drake number 35? And I'll be like, well, he's like, he's like number 8 for me. I'm like, how many albums did you hear this year? And they'll be like 20. And I'm like, look at the proportion.
Yeah.
8 out of 20 versus 35 out of 100. Yeah. It's about the same.
Yeah, if you look at it.
Yeah, but
people don't understand that.
In a fucking different decade. Damn, he look old. That's Chris Jericho.
I'm okay with that. Yeah.
Jesus.
Well, yeah, it's been a long
I know, man. I just remember him looking differently. But anyway, it's all good.
But yeah, so I have that argument every year. And yes, there's a lot of mid on the list because it's every single thing I heard. It's not that I cut a bunch out. It's, hey, this is what it is.
Yeah. I respect it.
I'm all right with that. It's whatever.
I respect it.
I'll let you have it too. My bad. Like I said. But yeah, Kendrick dropped a new album. It's called GNX, Grand National, right? It's a vehicle. And the funny thing is that after listening to it, the album reminds me of riding in an old school type of car down Pacific Coast Highway. Like, you're in a road trip. There's moments where you have fun. There's moments when you put on some old R&B and shit like that. You know, there's some moments where, like, yo, you get introspective on the ride. You looking at the ocean and reflecting back on your life. There's probably about 2 skips on the song, on the album for me, but the rest of them, I think there's 12 tracks. He's got an SWV sample. He's got a Tupac sample. Mustard got his own little anthem, so much so that McDonald's is singing him praises right now.
Is that why I keep seeing Mustard?
Yeah.
I'm very curious what your 2 skips are.
I was going to ask.
Fuck, I have to look at it. I think it's like, it's on 5. I got to get the track list out. I think it's like 5. Peekaboo grew on me a little bit.
That shit's hard.
It is hard. It grew on me, yo.
So I'm
still sitting with the album. It's only been 2 days.
No,
right?
Yeah, for sure. I'm glad you said that because, you know, people run around and they start doing this and that.
Well, the young kids are going around talking about his mid, but I think they like Drake, you know,
here's the thing. Well,
like
because there's that and there's like, sometimes Kendrick said, like, Damn had to grow on me. As crazy as that sounds to some people, it had... Those first listens don't usually... With Kendrick, first listens usually don't hit me like that. I think this album, it hit me because it's way more digestible. It's not as... Like Mr. Morale, the first time run through, I was like, this is interesting.
I still feel that
and then
way.
And it grows, you're like, oh, okay, this is beautiful. But it takes a second. This one, I'm just like, oh.
You can vibe.
And I saw a tweet and I was like, this is the most concise and perfect rundown of his discography in the least amount of words possible. And it made so much sense. Section 80. My hood is fucked up. Good Kid, Mad City.
I've seen this. Yeah.
My city is fucked up. To Pimp a Butterfly. The country is fucked up.
Yes,
Damn. The world is fucked up. Mr. Morale. I'm fucked up. GNX. Y'all got me fucked up. And that is the fucking energy on this album. He's got a couple of these introspective, like, you know, the song I played at the beginning. It's a nice, it's nostalgia. It's even more like it got me because like I was there to see the whole thing. So the way he paints the picture and it's like, it feels so honest. And because I was there and I saw it as a grown person, I'm like, that's exactly how I saw it happening too.
Yeah.
Like I really appreciated him giving Ab Soul his flowers. Like I really wanted to rap like him. That's who I was going after. And then the way he talked about being J-Rock's hype man, where it's like, we just got to get him to make it. And then that means I made it. And I'm like, I saw him pouring everything because he explains like, hey, TDE, like I left, but it's because I gave them everything I had. Y'all really, really want a Black Hippie and everyone was down but me. Because the timing was at that certain time, I had already switched up and I was somewhere else. And now I just focused on, I want to be independent and I want to show a different skill set. And so it's very respectable. It's all love. And it's like, hey, I don't care what the internet says. This is what it is. And it's like, it was beautiful over that sample and all this other shit. And then, so you got songs like that. And the rest of it is like, yo, I'm him. I don't give a fuck what any of y'all say. And I'm also putting on young hood rappers from my city that y'all say I don't do. And they're all over the place on this album. And they're not forced. Because I bet you a lot of these rappers would be people he make fun of. Because this is definitely like a G Perico type of thing. And none of it sounds forced. They all sound well placed and it's well done. And, you know, maybe the sequencing can be a little different if I really wanted to nitpick at it. But it sounds like he threw this album together. Some of it was ready to go and some of it just kind of happened to where, because it's so digestible, but it's also, we live in a very polarized time right now because this Drake Kendrick shit is really just like how our politics are. It don't matter if this is good because you're on that side. I don't fuck with you at all.
Wow.
And so 10 minutes after it's out, this shit is trash. Like, what? And then on the other side, 10 minutes after it came out, oh, this is the best album I've ever heard. Like, let's all relax.
And everybody fighting each other in the comments now.
And that's all it is. But to me, trying to be as objective as possible, I don't know where I'd have it ranked after.
How many stars?
I don't know. That's what November is so tough for me because normally
like to make a decision.
If Kendrick drops, normally I would expect him to be in the top 5.
He did this to
but
Ross, he did it to Meek Mill.
because it dropped in November, I really got to just say fuck everything else and focus on
like
music.
Rotten Tomatoes, a quick review. What is your rating on it? 1 through 5 stars. Your first run through. What are you giving it?
I think it depends what you're looking for.
I'm asking you.
Lex, this album stands out more than any other music that came out this year.
Your personal taste,
anything that he's
Lex.
done. Yeah, she's leading you there right now.
Well, no, I've also heard a lot more music than you have.
I'm asking you
because last week you were telling me
this was the album of the year. I'm not asking you to compare it to anything else. I'm saying you listened to the album one time. How many stars?
I think it'll still. I think
for you.
I think it'll still be in the top 5. I don't think it'll be number 1.
You're fucking crazy, man.
But I didn't mean like against other people. I just meant like, you see a movie, you give it a review. You're not thinking about all the other movies you saw. I'm talking, do you understand where I'm getting at?
Oh yeah, this one is a ton of replay value.
But the thing is the reason why this is why I jumped in the first place, and I'm not about to like fucking jump in and listen to a bunch of music in the next month and a half again. But like, there's no other album that you can tell me that had this type of acclaim that actually delivered on it in the last 2 years.
Yeah, but the problem is when you say this type of acclaim is because when the top rapper comes out, it doesn't matter if another rapper performed that well because they didn't have the same acclaim because they don't have the same expectations as the top rapper.
This is my last point because I know we can do this for a long time. But my only knock against that is the last time he came out with an album, we all left out of there over that weekend, like just the world, and was like, I don't know if we wanted this one from Kendrick. So even if it's a top rapper and he brings something, doesn't mean that we automatically think it's gold. Mm. You get what I'm saying?
No, I understand that.
Like now we had zero expectations because it's like, yo, you gave us one of the hottest summer runs that we've seen in the last 5 years.
Zero expectations.
None of us had expectations
for a Kendrick album.
It was a surprise
because you didn't know. There was no anticipation, no debate before.
His first words was, to add to your point, because you're exactly right, was, he ain't gonna drop no album to the Super Bowl, and then 3 minutes later he dropped an album. You had zero expectations.
No expectations of a drop, not of whenever it came. Anything. There's the expectation of the music,
but he could flop and it wouldn't be that bad. The spotlight's not on him.
Because there was no build up.
Yeah, the spotlight is on Drake.
But that means you have different criteria of how you rate an album.
Do you think that
I care about the music? You care about all the outside shit.
Let me ask the casuals, right? And I mean that respectfully. Do you feel like
not the casuals?
Let me ask the casuals, right? In terms of this, right?
You just call me basic, motherfucker.
I did. Just saying, like I'll lend casually listening. I'll lend
he's actually talking to why we have a lot of issues with my list because the spotlight is not on certain people. If they creep too high, they're like, who the fuck is this person? There's no way they could drop an album that's any good.
I know he is now. He actually makes
Jeepers Creepers.
He makes solid music, but like, damn, bro, I don't need 9 of these in a year. But
I agree.
But
I don't need 9 of them.
But I feel like the spotlight is really on Drake. This was a guy that you couldn't get on Kendrick other than his one album. He got on Drake's whole style for like the last 12 years, right? And here's the thing. I really don't want to deep dive into this. I swear to God, I don't. But we'll leave it at that. I just want to look. You don't think it was? You think it was time for him to deliver? I think that he could have rode off into the sunset from the year that
That's
he had.
not what I'm arguing. That's why I said he don't need to drop him out right now. Wait till the Super Bowl.
Weird fucking stances. I don't know what you are.
No, because you said we had zero expectations of the music.
Well, no, I think what you're missing is the fact that there was no pre-announcement date. There was no anticipation. There was no debates had on what's singles, blah, 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 blah. That does all add up to build-up.
The build-up is not like us. The build-up is the beef.
But Lex, you have to acknowledge that when we know there is an album release date, like, hey, Jay-Z said he's announcing an album on this date.
Yeah,
hey,
I'm expecting so and so.
There is a different climate, atmosphere, ramping up, discussion, expectation, etc., etc. That is half. That's just standard. Yes, of course.
But let me tell you, it's still happening though. If it starts during the summer,
I want to hear that.
If it starts during the summer, right? And then we say, hey, you know what? He's probably not going to drop till the Super Bowl.
What started during the summer?
The fact that Not Like Us is the number one song, he has to put an album out.
No. Like That was like, yo, I'm just on a feature, and then Not Like Us was like a victory dance of me whooping some dude's ass in a battle. And now and then I did a concert in LA, at a venue that was all LA, and that's
I'm sorry,
all you got a chance to see.
You're not going to find nobody else that has the #1 song in the country that's like, hey, we're not going to put an album out behind this. You're not going to do that.
But why wouldn't he just say when he was going to drop it then? Because it does create something.
Exactly. You say, hey, okay, we're not getting it now, but you know what? Oh, we might get it soon. Oh, you know what?
Don't worry, I'm gonna get mad.
And then the Super Bowl announcement comes. Oh, you might want to hold it till the Super Bowl. Either way, you have an idea.
But Lex,
that
is this
music
the album?
Is coming.
Is this the album? Because now we got other reports now that this isn't the album and that there is something else coming.
But until
because
those
it doesn't
reports come
fucking
out,
make sense
this
to
is
drop
it.
an album in November, right, with no true single on it, talking about I'm about to go do the fucking Super Bowl. Usher dropped the album after the Super Bowl, and he was doing his Vegas residency. What are we talking about right now? This isn't the album that we're looking for.
Most
he gave us something, and it just turned out to be fucking great.
But But it's music. So if you're expecting music, even if it's a few months away,
I wasn't expecting it.
The fact
you
that
keep
it
using
comes,
the wrong words.
But the fact that it comes when he drops it, you're like, oh, I'm excited. As soon as I hit play, I have an expectation for it to be good.
But there's an advantage that I get to hit play within 2 minutes of him dropping it versus him saying I'm gonna release an album and then we wait for the date.
I understand that, but then
or a single that's
but even 2 minutes away,
Not Like Us is not even on there.
It's 2 minutes for that, but you also had 6 months from hearing music, period. That you're like, hey, whatever is next is going to be fire. It's not that he just came out 2 minutes and dropped the album. He said, oh shit, I haven't heard him for 2 years.
No, that was the expectation.
He ran the
after
whole year.
You're right. You know what? Let me help you out. You're partially right. Because you can't do what I just did. You can't admit that shit. You were partially right. You were right because at that time period when that happened, yes, but we've had a cool down period since then. And with that cool down period, we got an announcement of a Super Bowl. And it was like, yo, this motherfucker forever goated at this point. He done got a Super Bowl in New Orleans over Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne made that shit about him. And then it was like, hey, here's an album for y'all motherfuckers. We thought the album was coming at the Super Bowl. We didn't get that. Yeah, we were excited. And he delivered.
I understand the surprise.
I need you to understand and be like, yeah, you know what, Carl, you got a point. I need you to
but
not
we're not going to say there was zero expectations on whatever music came next. Yeah, the surprise might have helped you because you're like, oh, I thought I was going to get it in 3 months. But you got it now, so
if
you're like,
oh. If he made bad music, does that change your view as him as an artist and him getting the Super Bowl?
What does that have to do with what I'm
just
talking
hit my
about?
hand claps. That's all I need to know. Because what you're
Let
saying
me move the goalpost so we can just move on.
That's
exactly because that's what he does when he starts to realize that I'm right.
You're not right because you guys are arguing 2 different points. You're right. There's still a level of expectation because he's an artist and we know his artistry. What we're saying is because there wasn't a pre-announcement, it missed a different level of anticipation.
You don't agree with how I believe the summer was the announcement.
Okay, right now I'm connecting with the women on this one for
that's not the same as announcing an actual album date. Yes, it builds traction and anticipation and etc. But that is not the fucking same as saying I am releasing an album on this date and then that creating an atmosphere of all the different things. But it doesn't matter. You're right. There's going to be an expectation on whatever he puts out there because he's a known, respected artist. Anyways.
That's what I'm saying.
And what I'm telling you is that the emotional response, though, is where he's a fucking genius at because he did it with us having very little expectations of him with a surprise album.
Well, and that would make if this isn't the album that we were thinking about, then yeah, it makes sense to drop it out of nowhere.
Oh, thank God. Fuck, that's what I was saying this whole time. I swear to God, that was it.
But
no, let it go. Yeah. I was there. Let it go. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
You did something really quick earlier that I heard earlier, and I there's 3 things that if you want to be a better conversationalist that you can do, and you did one of them, and one of them is concede and in a way like not where you're like folding but conceding where you're saying like when you gave Lex you're like okay you're right on this part whatever they say that's actually like that's one of the great skills of being a good conversationalist is finding when it's not easy, when it's not comfortable, when you don't want to do it, finding the opportunity to concede, to give a person that in order to, you know, continue the conversation or be able to advance it and not get stuck on a point. So I just thought like that was a really great example of real time, of something that I want to work on and tip for all of you.
I'm glad that he's so scared of you that he ain't gonna even go shit on you.
How can you shit?
That's what I'm saying. No,
that's nothing to shit on.
No, that was my joke. That was my joke at him hating me. You remember when I asked him? I said, "Yo, if a girl thought I was cute, how would he feel?" Like, "Ah, fuck that, because it's him." Read them in week. Fuck it. We'll go on to something different.
Yeah, geez.
So I have a boyfriend I have been living with, and he's 29 for a year and a half now. We live in a cute condo, and she fucked this up. So I'm gonna try to read this as best I. No, not you. I'm talking about the way she wrote this.
Okay.
We live in a cute condo that he bought a few weeks prior to meeting me.
Okay.
He works in the military and makes a good amount of money. I, on the other hand, work as a RBT. I don't even know what that is, and make okay money. I've been paying him rent since I moved in. No issue until my past caught up with me, and I have to pay around $10K after a lawsuit. It was a car accident I had 3 years ago that destroyed a power company pole.
Oh, damn.
My fault. I was dumb back then. I don't know if that changes too much. It depends, right? Hitting a power company pole is crazy.
Yeah.
Now I'm hoping he understands that I need to put the money I'm paying him towards paying off this debt. I'm not asking him to pay my debt, but I'm asking him to understand it's either rent or food after I pay the monthly fee. He's been gone, and I've been taking care of everything in the house, from cleaning to fixing to dealing with the renting and renting the spare room. I can see how I may be an asshole, because the money I give him is for him paying the mortgage. Am I in the wrong if I do not want to pay for it, pay rent and pay my debt?
So essentially, just so we can like maybe make it a little bit more digestible.
Yes.
She is in a pinch. She's living with her boyfriend.
Yes.
She's been paying rent. He's in a better financial position than she is, and she's saying, "Hey," she's asking her boyfriend, "Hey, at this time, can I stop paying you rent so I can get caught up on my debt?" And she feels like this is acceptable because she helps out around the house and she's kind of holding down the fort.
Right. So
and
she's yeah.
Okay, so in a nutshell, that's kind of what it is.
So her thing is she would rather pay off her debt than pay him.
Than pay the rent. Yeah.
Yes.
And so she's saying, is she an asshole if she tells him like, I'm not paying rent anymore?
Right.
But I'm gonna keep living here?
Yes. I like that. I see what you did at the end of that. Look. In my experience, right, when it comes to money, it's not even just a woman thing. This is just a person thing.
They're in a serious relationship, right?
A year and a half.
Okay.
Year and a half.
Living together?
Yes. Look, for me, I need to be married. Like, for me to take that type of commitment and step, to help. Because essentially, I'm paying for you to stay somewhere just for you to pay off your debt. I'm losing in this situation.
Yeah, I need to be invested, right?
I need something on the back end. I need some reassurance, before I make a commitment such as that.
Yeah, that's a lot of 80s for you.
Yeah, that's a lot of 80s.
Every month.
Yeah. No, times that 80 by like 6. You know what I mean? Like that's a lot. I don't know if I could do that. But not even just that though, bro. It's like we live in a time right now where like anyone is able to leave, right? Just like mentally and physically, you could just leave a relationship if you're not married, right? And I'm not saying that because she needs to be held hostage or anything. I'm just saying that, like, for me, if I know that, I need to know that emotionally I'm getting something. You know what I mean? I need to know that physically I'm getting something. Financially I'm getting something. Like, there's a benefit. If I'm living with you, the point of me living with you, is one, to make our lives easier, right? Yeah. There's other dudes out there that's out here to make your life easier, right? And that ain't never been my MO. My thing is like, to me, and I've been fighting with my daughter about this. I was like, and because she don't know the value of things yet, right? And so when you don't know the value of things, you don't take care of certain things, right? So it's like, yo, if somebody came into my house, I always tell my wife, I was like, yo, they could be a skilled contractor all they want to, but they could just be having a bullshit day and just, give me some nonsense or whatever. But I'm going to take the extra time. I've had dudes spill paint on the floor and think they wiped it up, and then I go in there after and wipe it up because it's mine, right? Yeah, I know how much it costs to do those things. So if I'm in a relationship, emotionally, emotionally, right, I want to make sure that like, yo, we're in these things for the right reasons, right? Financially, I want to make sure we're doing these things for the right reasons, because if the house is in my name, we're taking care of it. We get married. I have no problem with putting your name on it, right? When it comes down to it, but we're not there yet, right? So if you just skate out and I did all this for nothing, that's where I have a problem with this specifically.
Yeah.
So, Lex?
I don't agree with something you said about we're in a time where, everybody can just leave whenever they want. I think it's exactly opposite right now. I think more people are staying because it's so hard to be out here by yourself.
In San Diego, yeah.
But that's just a random tidbit. Other than that, yeah, you dead wrong. Like, I agree with the whole, like, hey, if I see us going all the way, then we can have that conversation. And because I'm invested in that way, then yeah, technically our debts are each other's. Yeah, and so whatever makes the most sense and efficiently to get this taken care of, if that means you can't help with the mortgage because you got to focus on that, then, you know, what's mine is yours and vice versa at that point. But if you ain't there yet, then yeah, you kind of an asshole for saying I'm not about to do this no more.
Jay?
Yeah, I think initially I see 2 points of it. Like, one, I definitely think that like that's a deeper conversation for sure. Like, if this relationship is showing longevity and maybe we're not married but we're on track to get engaged, we feel invested and safe, then if I'm able to do it, then yes, but I would definitely need to fill in that space to feel like I'm not getting swindled or used or taken advantage of. However, though, on the flip side, I think there is something to be said. It's like, if we are in a committed relationship, they're 29, maybe, I mean, that's around the marrying age, but maybe they both don't know if they're there yet. I think to say you're just going to stop paying rent is being an asshole, but to have a conversation and be like, look, hey, maybe we're not on track to get married, but again, everything's transactional. You know, you're in the military. You're probably getting a stipend for this. You already had this place before I moved in, so technically you were already prepared to pay for this place by yourself. I'm here when you're out on sea duty or wherever the fuck you are. I'm managing the household. I'm doing this, and that. Like, this is what I'm offering. Are you willing, as, yes, just my boyfriend, but somebody who we are kind of sharing responsibilities and we're sharing life together at this point in our time? Are you willing to help me out with this as someone who is a partner in my life at this time? I think that is a conversation worth having that isn't like overstepping, and it doesn't necessarily mean that like I need to be your wife or your husband to do this. I think it just needs to be like, hey, are you comfortable with this? Do you got it? Are you in this position? I'm not. I'm someone you care about. This is what I need. It could help me. Are you comfortable? You know?
I agree. I think it comes off weird because it sounds like she's trying to skip that conversation and just go straight to, hey, I ain't doing this no more.
Yeah. You know, yeah, if she was pulling some like, you know, just didn't send him the rent and was like, yeah, I have to send all my money to the debt and I take care of the house and I do this, that, and the other, like, that's a little okay. But I think if we can have that conversation and understand like how this can be mutually transactional for each of us, how maybe you're helping me with the setting, like I don't. What you just
said right now, like in that time frame right now, is the reason why you're here. That is the main reason why you're on the spot. Because now, right when you said that, I responded as if like a woman was telling me that. Like my physical response and like mental, like what I thought about. And I was like, shit, this is one of those moments that are in a relationship when shit be good for a year and a half that can make or break you. Right? I'm not wrong for telling you like, yo, you need to pay. And you're not wrong for asking me for grace. Right? But what's going to happen is there's going to be resentment on one side.
You're either gonna come together and be like, damn, he had my back, I'm gonna have his back in the future, blah blah blah. It's gonna strengthen, you know, being able to get through that adversity, and then you have that admiration for someone who supported you, your partner. Or like you said, it can become where it can start to feel resentful if it doesn't feel like eventually that energy is being matched, or you feel like you were being taken advantage of.
Yeah, like caressing that relationship, like, yo, if he gave you an out, like, yo, you gotta you got to do some shit extra special for a while, right? And just say it in general, right? And then if he doesn't provide you with it now you second guessing like, well, how much does he really got my back?
Immediately, right? Like I'm like, well, I'm in it. We're living together. I'm over here playing house, and now when life has hit me hard, like, and it doesn't put you at a disadvantage, you know, like you're not going without. Like she said, it's either food or this, you know. Whereas it sounds like he's in a position where he's more comfortable. So it's like, damn, what does that say about how you feel about me? You know?
Which is crazy because like I get a chance to see like people's comments on these, and a lot of people said she was in the wrong because she needed to pay, and I was like, yo, y'all gotta be like, I don't think she's necessarily like wrong for this. I just think that like it shouldn't be his problem because that's something that you brought in because there's no security in the relationship. Mm-hmm. If they said they was married, that would change my tune, but I don't think she's necessarily wrong for feeling how she's feeling, especially if you don't have a job. Because my man is dating a girl knowing that he's got a military gig, you know, he gets, you know, housing, he can buy a house easily, more easier. You don't have to pay closing costs and all this other shit. He's
gonna get more money when he gets married and gets a
exactly, or he can go re-sign and get a signing bonus, right? Like he can get cash if he really wanted to, depending on how much he put into the work. I mean, he put into his career. But for her, it sounds like she, you know, in between a rock and a hard place. So
she's in the struggle.
Yeah.
I guess that's something to also consider when you're dating, you know, like if you're dating out of your, I don't know, what, financial bracket, whatever you want to say, you know, is there a level of understanding that like, oh, my girl, my guy doesn't have it like that, you know, and am I willing to understand that means if I want to be with this person financially, I will have to step up if I want to maintain the lifestyle that I'm still living, you know, like, I think that's like something to consider, you know, versus like then becoming resentful. You're like, I got to pay every time because it's like, well, you knew who the bitch you were dating, or you knew who the man you were dating, like, you know, so I think it kind of goes along with that too.
It does. You're absolutely right, and I think it's one of the, you know, I want to say this to men out there, right? Like I think that, you know, for the most part, just given the way statistics are, you know, especially if you're a well-established man, you know what I mean, that if you're dating someone, bro, you just gotta understand that like it's gonna take them a while to get on the same wavelength, or if they won't ever get there, right? You have to hit an acceptance. I had how do I say this in a way that's not so crazy? I had a family member recently find out, you know, some news about like fertility with their partner, right? And it was one of those things where I was like, look, man, like you are making a conscious decision right now, and you have a certain route that you're going, you know, and just know that whatever route you take on this, like you have to acknowledge that you knew the risk involved, right? Like you have to have some type of accountability or ownership for the decisions that you make. You can either stay or go, right? That people, I heard somebody say this, and it's always fucking stay with me. It's like when you get with somebody, you either gonna stay together or you're gonna break up. There's only two options.
Yeah.
Right? And so with that being said, whatever you're doing to ensure that you guys stay together, you have to know that these critical decision points you made, you can't harbor resentment towards a person. Right? And so that's where it's like,
that's poison.
Yeah, man. It's like I said, when I met my wife, I wasn't 100% where I needed to be, but I knew where I was going, and I was in a better position than she was at that time. That is no longer true today.
I was going to say, haven't you said it's flipped now?
Yeah, it's no longer true today, but and whatever hardships that we have, I don't put it on her. The only thing I do acknowledge to her is like, yo, like we went kind of crazy on the spending this weekend. Because usually what it is we'll split things down the middle of what I perceive to be the middle at some point, but I actually take a L, right? And so it's like, you know, and she feels the same way, and I'm okay. We're married at this point, right?
Yeah.
But I take the L, but what she does do is of value, right? It does help significantly. It has changed our lifestyle, right? Because I no longer have the full-on burden. She's now in a position to where she's an equal contributor in the household.
Yeah.
So it's like, for me, if we got into an argument about something, I can't bring up past shit.
Yeah.
That's not fair to her.
Exactly.
Because I brought it up in the moment and she fixed it. So I've always learned, whenever she get in her bag, shut the fuck up, Carl.
Yeah. Yeah.
For real. Like, you know, that self-restraint is hard for some people. You know what I mean? Of saying like, yo, you know, when shit, you're in this bag. When shit get good, you still want to harbor on the bad shit. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you got the dub, but no, motherfucker, we got the W, man.
Yeah,
like, just respect the
yeah.
fact. Let's just enjoy the win real quick. And that's where, and I was part of that too, right? I'm saying that being funny, but we pick and choose our spots.
Yeah.
But like, for me, it's like, yo, I'm just going to celebrate her wins. I ain't going to even bring up the old shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't even think I do too much. So, yeah.
Keeping score in a relationship will fuck that shit up real
exactly.
quick. Yeah.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And that's kind of like where I think that maybe ties in, because it's like
it's heading that road.
Exactly.
It's heading down that road.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And what it is he's in a better position. He's just gonna have to. All right, I love this girl. Let me do what I got to do, and then, bro, it's your job to help bring her up too. You know.
Yeah. Or he understands, like, hey, I'm not willing to take on this, and maybe this isn't the one for me.
This is the
But that's where he
equivalent.
has to be real, because he doesn't get to still let her fucking take care of his house and do all the things, you know. If he has that epiphany and it's not like all right, I'll just let her stay and not pay rent, so that way she can still make sure everything's good at home and I don't got to worry about it, versus like, oh no, actually I don't want to foot this bill because I don't really want to be with this woman. It's a convenience thing.
Right.
Yeah, so it's
know?
going to test that. So because like we said at the very top, right? If she didn't impress you, y'all still be just hanging out.
Yeah.
Right.
This is this moment right here. This is
Yeah.
grandma saying, hey, don't be just sitting there playing house. Situation has come up. Now you got to answer.
Yeah.
If you were content with same old, now we got to find out.
Yep.
This is it.
Yep.
Selfishly, she's been putting money towards his mortgage too.
Yeah.
The house is in his name.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's part of me where I'm like, it'd be different if you're kind of you're forcing yourself to struggle to help somebody else, versus like, you know, it's not that big of a hit. You know?
And one can argue like she's probably paying cheaper rent with him.
Yeah.
But she's still gonna feel away. I'm gonna feel away if I put fucking some paint on the wall or something, you know, or if I was there when the handyman was there and you didn't have nobody else there. I'm gonna feel away.
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly.
You know what I mean?
I know exactly.
I may be out of my mind to feel that way because the shit, you got a piece of paper that says it's yours, but I'm pumping resources in there. I don't give a fuck if you bought the car. I put new tires on it, okay? I've invested in this motherfucker. Yeah.
You might own it, but don't act like I didn't put nothing on it.
Yeah, and when you was having a hard time.
Yeah. Specifically.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay?
Specifically.
You want to take five?
She said that was the hardest specifically I had ever heard. Specifically. Oh shit! Anything else on that? We can get the fuck up out of that one.
Yeah, let's go.
Get my hand claps. Shows to watch. Jay, what you got on the menu?
Oh my
You better run
goodness.
through the whole Netflix queue and not leave nobody else none.
No, I'm not. I'm trying to think. What have I watched? I watched the Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. That was a little heartbreaking. Yeah. And then let's see. I've been watching just my usuals. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I know I watched something new recently, but I guess nothing with the big takeaway.
What's the big takeaway?
From what? No, I'm saying
I thought it was a show called The Big Takeaway.
No, I'm trying to think.
That's a fire name.
Right?
Big Takeaway. I might want. It's like a game show.
I need some new shows, actually. You guys put me on game.
I started watching The Lincoln Lawyer. I don't know if we talked about that on here.
Maybe you mentioned it. No,
I thought so. I think Mike mentioned it, and after Mike mentioned it, I went and I started it, and I was like, you know what? There was a lot of growth for me because usually I don't let Mike like dictate like what I watch and don't watch or whatever, and he was holding back that whole episode. Hey, like Mike F said, that motherfucker don't act like that.
I told you that's something when he was like, "What audience?" I caught him.
Oh,
he had that moment where he was about to let it rip, and then I have it all the time, and I'm like, "Oh wait, hold on, let me."
Yeah, that was a funny moment because he scaled it back. He
was
changed
on
up
his
in a minute. He's like, "Nah, she go." Hey, dudes act crazy when they act normal when they notice everybody else listening. You like, yo, what the hell is going on with him? I was like, yo, then he said, follow her on Instagram. I said, I said different strokes for different folks. Everybody got some shit. My wife was like, that's fucking crazy. He gonna hear this, but that shit was, I was dying. She's like, she said, I wish you would have followed me.
Yeah.
She be checking.
As do I. The hell?
She be checking. But Lincoln Lawyer, it's a pretty damn good show. I ain't gonna even lie.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I ain't gonna even lie. I'm and I normally don't go back to old shit. Like these dudes been sitting up here talking about The Wire. I'm like, yo, all them seasons, I'm good. I don't need to know about any all them seasons. I can't get through it. But I do like Lincoln Lawyer. There was something else that I started watching, but I can't remember off the top of my head what it was. And I was supposed to write it down for this week. All this shit that I got for this week is from last week when we didn't have an episode. So
well, the Rhythm and Flow, I did like that. Lotto's on there. They have different guest judges every week. So they had Busta Rhymes as a guest judge. I think they had, who else did they have as a guest judge?
I didn't watch it.
Okay. No, Ludacris is permanent on there and Lotto is permanent on there. But yeah, they have a lot of heavy hitters. Cardi B's coming through.
I'm continuing to see people not do things around music, but not music itself.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so I really enjoyed that. Gosh, there's something else I watched.
Really ain't no money out here.
What you got for us?
I watched a new doc.
I know I've watched some docs. Maybe I've seen it.
It's called Buy Now, a shopping conspiracy.
Oh, shit. Right up his alley.
And basically it goes over, there's different sections.
They had you at buy. He didn't even have to say now.
It was, what do they call it? Planned obsolescence. And so they have like how fast fashion, how like, oh shit, we used to have 2 seasons and now it's, you got to drop something monthly. And obviously there's an environmentalist section on how all this shit is bad for, just the consumerism of America is going to drive it to its ultimate demise, which exactly. But it talks about how, your iPhone starts slowing down when the new one starts, about to pop out. And it's like, it's not a conspiracy. That's how they make it work. They were talking about like, engines and different things that were like you can make something that lasts 80 years, but is that good for business?
No.
Make it last 3. Mm-hmm. And so laptops and especially like these technological, like just electronics in general, the technology is out to make better products, but because we live in such a high turnover society where you just get the new one, get the new one, get the new one, if you line up all the iPhones, there's not big jumps between what they can do and their functionality all the way through. It's just, hey, it's the newest one, and America needs to be current. Otherwise, they look down on you. Oh, you got an iPhone 13 or whatever number they on right now. And so people are shamed into keeping current, whether they got it or not, keeping up with the Joneses, right?
For sure.
And, I didn't need to see it. Like the information wasn't new to me, but it's. I like the way it's laid out. I like docs that tie things into the environment and stuff like that. So, because it all kind of leads back to that.
Is that the one with Bill Gates?
No,
because that's what I was just. There's a new documentary on Netflix with Bill Gates.
I think his is called What's Next or something.
Yeah, and
I don't know what it. Maybe it's about something like that.
Well, the first one is like a deep dive into like AI. What is AI? Where did it come from? Then they talk about like social networks. It's really.
It's in my queue.
You gotta watch it. It's really good. But what made me think of it is because him and his daughter were talking about how that. It also goes into like government policy on like internet and kind of what we were talking about on like enforcing the AI and holding platforms responsible. But he was giving an analogy about how like he used a playground. Bill Gates was saying like how because now we've created these communities and we've created like normally you have these groups over here, these groups over here, all these people. But now we've in these social spaces, social platform spaces, now we're all able to get together and then we're able to share our opinions, say what we're saying. Whereas like when you're on the playground and there's a group of people and someone says something to somebody, you can see their face, you can see the reaction, you can see the impact that your words are having. That maybe there's somebody else there to de-escalate or etc. His point was like, well, now that we're in these new online spaces, I'm not saying anything that you guys all don't know. It's easier to get behind the keyboard and to do the keyboard warring because there's this distance, there's this lack of a proximity, which makes people have the Twitter fingers. Why that was so relevant to me was, a few weeks ago, I had an exchange with somebody else on another podcast, and one of this other fellow podcaster, he's a few times said a few different rude things to me. And so at this point, when he had said something rude, I had invited him to say it to my face. I was like, why don't you come and we can meet and you can call me fat. You can disrespect me. You can say all the things you're saying to me. And it got hijacked to whereas, probably because we're maybe all from Southeast, like I was trying to catch the fade and this, that, and the other. But literally when I heard Bill Gates, I was like, that's exactly what my point was to this man. That is why I gave him the opportunity, because so quick we are, we forget that what we say behind the computer screen, behind the Twitter fingers, behind the phone, it has real life effects, whether if we're talking shit, whether if we're bullying, whatever we're doing. You can't see what you're saying and how that's affecting somebody, but it still has consequences. So, I was just like, the documentary is great, but especially what he's talking to and speaking to in that culture where you're big, bad, and bold. If you're a man, you're a woman, it doesn't matter. I never say shit online I would not say to somebody's face, and I'm stand 10 toes down on that. And if I said something and somebody's invited me to say it to them in person, I would absolutely accept that invitation, because I understand that there are consequences, that this isn't some fake illusion, that you will be at some point held accountable for what you say, especially to certain people. And so, I think, him going into, having his perspective and being well-knowledge, for me, it just dawned in even deeper that is part of, the dangers of all of the AI, these social networks, is that people forget that, in this virtual space, there's still real-life consequences or reactions,
That was a beautiful way of saying keep that same energy.
I'm glad that everybody understood the messaging.
Keep that same fucking energy when you see me.
Keep it.
That's funny as hell.
When you see me.
Nah, I'm gonna probably check that Bill Gates one out. What you said right now was enough for me to be like, all right. You know what else?
And there's a few different episodes, so you can pick which one.
Yeah, the doc I'm talking about is a one.
It's a one.
A long one.
It's 90 minutes.
Another one I liked that y'all gotta watch, and this is gonna, I don't know. Look, I'm gonna limit you, so you just agree, okay? Our Oceans. Barack Obama.
I heard about that. It's in the queue.
Yeah, Barack Obama narrates it on the opening. I was like, yo, the shit he talking about, he giving me hope about this ocean. Then he started getting to the nitty. Yeah, that's what I said. I was like,
he's known for selling some hope, man.
I was like, I'll sit up here.
Look where we at.
But the way he was narrating, I was like, and then she was like, yo, do you like the one with, what's my guy, man? He got the hand. Morgan Freeman.
Why did you?
No one knows that Morgan Freeman got a hand that don't work.
What? I literally don't describe people by their disability. Don't describe people by their color. He doesn't work with the hand.
Someone,
because no one knows about it. That's why I remember.
They say, who's the guy with the voice?
Right.
That's what I meant.
But did you know?
Why you gotta disrespect?
I'm trying to say it politically correct.
He's like DJ Paul?
Yes, he has a non-functioning hand. If you look at all his movies, I think it's, I ain't gonna even guess, but he hides one of them. What happened was, though, it wasn't always like that. He had gotten into a car wreck, and I think he was with one of the little hot things, because they said he was married at the time.
Chill out.
Morgan out here.
Look, that's what happened to Michael J. Fox when his disease started progressing. You'll see his scenes. He's holding something, so he's hiding the shaking.
It's Parkinson.
Oh, see, these guys are.
They got a whole doc on him.
Out of all the ways we can describe the great Morgan Freeman, this motherfucker wants to say that.
When he get on the mic, I feel like, wait a minute, there's no hope when Morgan get on there. I'm like, it's over.
Can you imagine him narrating that?
Oh, no, he did do it once. I was like, yo, the world's
he did a whole season of the universe.
Our Planet.
Oh,
he did
Our Planet.
Our Planet. He fucked me up.
So you're telling
Will Smith.
So Barack, no, he did our Tiny Rock, something rock.
Oh, okay.
And that's just one of the more fire ones.
I love the.
So you're telling me Barack starts off hopeful and then it gets dark?
Yeah.
Usually those docs are the other way around, where it's dark and then they're like,
but
there's a little bit of hope.
Yeah, they tell you
if you do this and this, then we can all live in harmony. That's how David Attenborough is now.
He was talking about the Pacific Current. Yeah. Right, and how like the warm water travels up to Alaska and then it comes back down and cools off the other water. That's why people expect
our ocean to be warm, but it's cold because
it's filtering through the.
But that's the thing, that motherfucker is like getting hot right now.
And all
it's
the
messing up
ice caps
migration patterns.
Exactly.
Yeah. Polar bears is fucked up. They can't.
Their habitats are melting. Where are these motherfuckers out there swimming? They're tired.
Polar bears. The whole ecosystem. You knock one of these motherfuckers out the ecosystem, you don't know what it's going to do.
It's a chain reaction.
You got to watch the bill. They talk about climate change on one of the episodes of the.
But that's what be fucking me up, because it's like, this is an ex-president that understands that 90% of the ocean's gone. I was like, fam, and the 10%, which we think is a lot, there's way more than that.
We have to get to zero emissions on fossil fuels to save our planet. They're literally like, how do we get to zero?
We have to be negative. Everyone thinks this because they got these. You can cook the books on that zero emission shit, by the way. So don't be trusting these motherfucking labels. But we're at a point now where zero's not enough. If we don't come up with new technology to pull some shit out. Not add zero means I'm not adding no bullshit. Yeah. That's what zero means.
The bullshit.
Now, if we don't make something that pulls the shit
damage
out,
control.
We're still fucked.
Yeah.
And there is technology. I've seen a couple of hopeful articles this is a dope little thing right here.
Yeah.
But the problem is with those little hopeful things.
Did you see the wave current energy?
No, I've seen this little powder. But the problem is the things that they do have that are hopeful, it's really fucking hard to scale.
Yes.
Efficiently and globally, in a very
that's because that's the thing. It's not just a continent or a country. It's like the world. It's like having to get the entire world on board.
That's
developing the technology and then developing the infrastructure and then getting people on board to
getting people on board is tough enough. Getting
especially
people on board
when it's not
when the top dog is like, I don't give a fuck no more.
Well, especially when it's out of sight, because it's it's not going to affect our generation. It's really going to be probably our grandkids that are fucked. So it's hard to get people to buy in.
That's been China's argument for so long was, now that we're a first world country and everything's all great, and then we're becoming more knowledgeable. Oh shit, this is terrible for the. Y'all gotta stop. All these other countries are like, motherfucker, we watched the Industrial Revolution. We're doing this. We're just doing ours right. We're doing our Industrial Revolution right now. You can't tell me I can't do this, because we're trying to. You had to go through that to become a first world country. That's just what it is. And I understand that. This was
my politic argument, but keep going.
I understand that logic, but it's still it's kind of tough. It's like, hey, you're saying it's bad. I feel you, but what do you want me to do?
Yeah, we're trying to.
What do you want me to do?
Revolutionize, yeah.
Hey, my aunt class, let's get out of here.
Hey, oh, good lord.
We was out here pushing it. Look, man, I'm sorry. The Chargers played last week. Jay said she couldn't make it. It's not on her, right? We could have still pod. We've done it plenty of times,
but it was a little last minute.
No, I wasn't worried about that. And then Lex hit me and was like, yo, just ain't gonna make it, fam. I ain't gonna even say what happened, right? And I said, and I told him straight up, I said, we could skip it. Like hoping he would, take it. And I got no response, so I was like, all right, we good. Yeah, he gonna figure out whatever else he gonna figure out for the rest of the day.
Battery.
And then the Chargers proceeded to give me a really good game, right? Because I missed a lot of the night games or so it was like, damn, I'm gonna miss all the Monday night games because I do baseball practice. I'm gonna miss tonight's Monday night game. So I was just like, yeah, man, I'm about to sit at home and enjoy this because we ain't 7-3 all the time. So 5-12, it took us a while to get to that 5. I want to say we got it most of that 5 in the beginning half of the season. Then everybody started to fall off. So I was like, look, 7-3, I'm about to enjoy this. So and if they make it to the playoffs, I'm out of here. So if y'all don't see, I'm going to where we go to Baltimore. I'm flying to Baltimore.
That's cool.
Are you?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do it.
Good, you should. I think you should.
I think I'm gonna do it.
Would you go with your wife or would you go with a friend?
Yeah, she ain't gonna let me do that.
Exactly.
It's at the point now.
Damn, how much she charging them kids? You know what? I'm going to Baltimore.
She gonna go. She gonna find a way. So, 3 cheers. Anybody got anything they want to celebrate? Real tough time for celebration, huh? Holidays is a rough time. It's that cold weather, but people start acting different. You start hanging around your family a little more.
That's been on my mind heavy. Yeah. We're gonna talk about that next time. How to survive the holidays and protect your mental health.
Yeah, because the shit don't start looking up until after the Super Bowl.
Literally.
Like after February, the first week of February, January is a drag because everybody's still trying to get back to it. Kids getting back into their routine and shit. And you finally settled and the sun warming up a little bit more. Yeah, because right now, this little cold weather spell we got right now fucking with me.
Yeah, it is.
This one's a little harder than the previous ones, I think, just because of all the shit I done been through. Yeah. I ain't going to talk about that on the mic yet.
Yeah,
but eventually I'll get there. But I mean, yeah, this one, I was like, God damn, man, this has been 2024 has been a rough year.
Yeah, I feel you.
All the way across the board for everybody I done ran into.
Yeah.
You know? So... fuck
cheers.
it. No cheers.
3 cheers to being alive.
Yeah, 3 cheers to being alive. 3 cheers for us coming in and giving y'all pop. Exactly.